Virgo, before we begin your reading, I would like to read a quote to you by Omar Khayyam, which perfectly encapsulates the message and the energy of this reading. To wisely live your life, you don't need to know much. Just remember two main rules for the beginning. You better starve than eat whatever, and better be alone than with whoever. Now, Virgo, I feel that you have entered into this new season of your life where there's a lot of movement. And now that Mars is coming out of retrograde in Cancer, I feel that you have this window of opportunity to make some serious progress forward. But there's always these old energies that seem to be lingering around, and this is for any zodiac sign. We all deal with this. But for you, Virgo, I feel that because you are seeing so much growth in your life, there's almost this sense that maybe if you approach something from the past, that you might get a breakthrough the next time around. Now, it doesn't have to be literal in that it's a person, place, or thing from the past. It could just be another representation of that similar energy. And of course, the most common way this is going to show up is in relationships, romantic or other. And it could be you entertaining a certain kind of person that you haven't had any long-term success with in the past. So the universe, spirit, is really asking you to take everything you've learned, recognize your evolution, and allow all sectors of your life to feel this flood of new energy that is coming through for you. This isn't just an upgrade in one area of your life, Virgo. It's an upgrade in all areas of your life. But you must be willing to allow that to unfold and flow with the universe and allow evolution to take place in your life without compromise. What do we have at the foundation of the reading? Justice, Libra energy at the foundation of the reading. Okay, they're telling me to get another card out. What do we have at the sacral? Six of Pentacles, Taurus energy at the sacral. Both of these cards are representing the scales, right? Things are balancing out. There's this energy that's very clear where your past, your present, and your future are all in a kind of tug of war. The past is trying to pull you back. Now, like I mentioned at the beginning of the reading, it feels more like a mindset, an old way of doing things, a learnt sort of behavioral pattern, or a limiting belief about who you are and quite possibly what it is that you can attain. I'm seeing this image in my mind's eye. It just popped in out of nowhere. But I'm seeing these sort of Herculean giants pushing with all their might, this kind of border wall. It's like they're pushing up against some sort of restrictive space, creating more ground for growth. They're essentially pushing back against the limitations that you have created for yourself based on everything that has taken place in your life up until now. I'm hearing that those Herculean giants are representative of your spirit team. They're trying to expand your horizons, expand beyond what you think possible for your own life. And I feel that you'll be pleasantly surprised by what you're able to achieve. And that's exactly what I'm getting with this pairing here. You know, it's very rare that I'll pull out the sacral position before I start speaking on the first card at the root chakra. But they needed me to see this pairing here because they both represent a kind of balance. They both represent these opposing forces, right? Here, we have these two individuals. They look like they're playing tug-of-war with this baby in this basket. And then with this Six of Pentacles here, we can see very clearly that there's this individual doling pentacles out to these two individuals. Okay, I'm hearing you need to surrender to the higher order Virgo. I'm also hearing there's not much that you need to do in terms of what you're already doing in the here and now. Now, this is interesting, and I don't know if I've ever actually picked up on this before, but we have Justice sitting here with his back turned to these two individuals. And then right here, it looks like Justice has stood up and is doling something out to these two individuals, as if to say, no, 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 that isn't how this is going to go down. I'm the one who's calling the shots here. I'm the one that says which way these scales are going to tip. Again, I just heard complete surrender. And the Justice card does represent an energy of cause and effect, but it's also speaking about some sort of win-win solution. This could represent two things, Virgo. There could be a conflict between you and your higher self. Your higher self is trying to guide you in a certain direction, and maybe you're cherry picking. And or it could be another person external to you. Now, with this Six of Pentacles following at the sacral, it's really suggesting to me that there's more than enough here. There's no need to worry about being left out of something. Something will come to you because it's actually already yours by divine rights. So rather than putting energy into trying to fight this thing to come in the way you want it to come in, again, surrender is needed. King of Swords. Gemini, Libra, Aquarius energy at the solar plexus. And again, we're seeing these two individuals with an authority, right? Authority, two individuals, authority, two individuals, authority, and two individuals. And then look, there's that baby again there, which in most cases, that's not going to be literal. It's going to be more metaphorical. It could really speak about a project or something that you're trying to manifest. It's in its infancy, and it's coming out right at that solar plexus position. Yeah, I'm hearing that you feel powerless or as if something is out of your control. Now, this can certainly speak about individuals dealing with some sort of custody battle as well. That is very, very clear here. But having said that, there is a few different storylines I'm getting here. I'm picking up that. I'm also picking up individuals who are working on some sort of project, quite possibly with another person. There's a manifestation here. There's a lot of worry about who's going to get credit for what. There's a lot of worry about how things are going to be divided. There's also a message here surrounding quite possibly an individual I just heard on your team. Okay, so take that as it resonates, that you may be starting to realize is a bit tyrannical, a bit manipulative. They're showing, okay, I heard their true colors or a side of them that you didn't see before. You know, this is the kind of individual that would be all easy peasy, right? And once you really start getting into the weeds with a certain project or some sort of business venture, they start barking over your shoulder. And I said barking because there's a dog in the distance that is barking. So there's almost like this very distracting energy. You know, it's like somebody who gives you the reins to take care of something, and then once they see that, oh, wow, this might actually bring in some sort of success or profit, then they're really injecting their opinions about everything. And this is what you didn't see coming, which I feel is starting to, okay, I just heard a crow in the distance. Yeah, it's starting to disrupt the flow of energy, almost to the point where you feel like you can't even work with this person. I feel that you're just really put off, or it's the kind of person that you wouldn't want to share success with. You would almost rather not have it than have to share it with this person. It has nothing to do with money and everything to do with morals. Let's switch decks. What do we have at the heart, please? Wow. Literally followed what I just said. The Hangman, Pisces energy at the heart. And look, there you are. Looking at this person, the situation, or whatever it is from a different perspective. You're like, I didn't see it like that before. And look, crows, right? The crows, which I heard in the distance, are bringing forward a message from spirit to look at someone or something from another angle, to reevaluate a new approach, to regain some sort of control or favor in the situation. Virgo, there's a message here for some of you as well. Depending on how far along you are with whatever this is I'm picking up for you, you're really being advised not to settle here, okay? You'd be doing yourself a great disservice, which I feel that this could be a bit frustrating to hear because you've worked really hard to get to this point, only to realize, I may need to restructure something here. But it's one of these situations where once you do start restructuring based on a foundation where you have regained control, you're going to realize that things are so much better. They're so much easier. And there is a sense here that this all has to do with some sort of external force that is seeking to truly disrupt the long-term vision for this path you're on, which could really speak about what I said at the beginning of the reading, where your past, present, and future are all in a kind of tug of war. It's like you have to become completely present in the moment to regain control over the future vision for whatever this is here. I feel that some of you are so close to pulling something forward to full manifestation, but only just starting to realize that something needs to be restructured before you do, but it's going to set you back a little bit. However, if you take care of this now, it's going to assure your long-term presence in this space. It's better to deal with it now than later, because if it's left unaddressed, it can actually lead to the destruction or downfall, or quite possibly some sort of dead end further down the track. I'm starting to hear as well that this actually had to happen exactly like this. You know, right now I'm thinking about this rock band that came out maybe about 30 years ago, and they had a bunch of huge hits, but the huge hits were written by an original member that didn't actually get to start sharing in the success with the band. Because what they started to realize is that once they started the recording process, this particular member was too much of a loose cannon to share in on touring and the success of the band, so they had to let him go. So this band went on to have all these huge #1 hits, and although he was obviously credited for his work with them, and they couldn't have had those #1 hits without him, he was only supposed to be there for the inception of the group. Very similar to what I'm getting here, Virgo. And then right on the bottom of the deck, I have the 4 of Cups. Very interesting here. So the example I gave about the group and that individual, one of his main things was I don't know if he was a drug addict or an alcoholic. He was abusing substances in some capacity, though. And I mean, says it all right there. So this could speak about an individual you're dealing with as well. It's like somebody's personal problems or issues are what is jeopardizing the birthing of this manifestation. What do we have at the throat, please? Wow. The moon, Pisces energy again. Right there at the throat. Yeah, so this is you starting to see a kind of truth here, something that was hidden before. I just heard, first you meet the secretary and then the boss. Originally, you were dealing with this person with a smile who is very friendly, very easygoing. And then you start to see who it is that is really running the show, right? This is just a way of speaking about somebody who was wearing a mask to hook, line, and sinker you. But this moon is also speaking about a kind of fear that is all based on all of these unseen problems that are starting to surface now. You know, I feel that some of you out there are quite possibly looking at this situation and not realizing that you can actually keep pushing forward on this path without this other energy that has now become dead weight. They have served their purpose. A very cold thing to say, I get it. But that would absolutely speak about this King of Swords right there at the solar plexus. It's necessary. You didn't want it this way, but now you have to protect what has been built, what has been created. You can't allow this to ruin this creation. Yeah, they're having me circle back to what I said about some of you out there are dealing with a literal parenting issue or custody battle here. And it's amazing how you can apply that to individuals who are working on projects with people, right? It's like a custody battle with your project, a parenting issue, right? So, a perfect example of the power of tarot and how it can be applied in many different areas. And then right on the bottom of the deck, wow. Okay, so we have the Lovers, and this Lovers card is great because it's more so to me speaking about the connection between your higher self and your lower self, which is just us in the here and now, and spirit, which is the connection in between, right? I like to say that spirit is the electricity between us, right? And see how your higher self is like, come on then. And you're like, oh my God. So it's as if your higher self is saying, look, it's time to let us help you with this, right? I think I mentioned earlier on in the reading something about you cherry picking guidance. And then we have the Five of Pentacles here. It's like two paths. It's like you can go with your higher self. They'll show you how to turn this situation around in your favor, or you can continue down this path with this energy and it leads to complete ruin. Five of Pentacles. That is the energy of poverty, which is just basically this energy completely dissolving or fizzling out or not coming to fruition the way it should. It's just an energy of loss is really what it comes down to. What do we have at the third eye, please? What do we have at the third eye? Knight of Pentacles, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn energy at the third eye. Now, this follows that Lovers card perfectly because it suggests that you have something here now that you didn't have before, or maybe you didn't see before, or you weren't willing to accept before. But now here you are with this thing in the palm of your hand, which I feel represents guidance, divine guidance, which came through from that illustration of your higher self on the Lovers card. And now you're making the necessary changes, Knight of Pentacles, to realign with this vision at the third eye, which is all connected to your vision. And I just heard playing catch up. Okay, now I'm hearing something about going back and redoing things that you weren't able to do the way you wanted to when this other energy was influencing this space. Okay, I just heard, they just wanted me to say reparenting, okay? Now, again, that can be used in many different situations here. It can be used literal or it can be used metaphorically speaking. But overall, there's a sense that you have regained a sense of complete control and power here once something has been cut off and released for good. And I heard that just because someone puts the fuel in the car does not necessarily mean that they need to go on the ride. That just really says it all. Perfect. Thank you, Spirit. I feel that one's going to stick for a lot of you out there. Okay. What do we have at the crown, please? Too many cards. I just saw the Magician and the Hermit. Three of Wands. God, that illustration almost encapsulates the quote that Spirit gave me. It's like this person is waving to this eagle. You're all fueled up. Godspeed, right? There's no sense of a fight here from this person. It's almost like a sense of relief. Nowhere in any of this is there really any conflict. It's like they don't blame you or they understand. Maybe you don't see this coming. Maybe they just wanted you to say it. It's like they helped you get to this point, no matter how shaky that may have been, no matter how unbearable that may have been. But you have the child, the creation, the the project, whatever it is. There's a clear recognition of everything that they put into it to get you to this point. But for this particular area to continue to evolve, you have to completely take the reins on your own. And I just heard, even though it may hurt them, it may break their heart, they may feel upset, a part of them knows that this is the only way. I'm also hearing something about this person dealing with some sort of internal struggles. It's like they know they're this way. See, Virgo, you're the visionary in all of this. You're the one with the foresight. You can see beyond. That is not something that everybody has. You know, some people are builders, some people are visionaries. And there is definitely a difference between the two. Some are both. Some people are working with a full tool belt. But in this situation here, this other person was an absolute necessary component to bring forward the manifestation. They were a stepping stone on your path. There was a series of actions that needed to unfold exactly the way they have so you would reach your goal here. What do we have at the foundation of the reading, please? Queen of Swords and the Threaphis. Okay, so now we're going back to some of the messages earlier on in the reading where you didn't see this person for who they really were because they were wearing a mask, right? And that's really what the Queen of Swords is representing here. Because the Queen of Swords, this can be an energy that presents themselves one way, right? But is something entirely different. This is read as Queen of Swords in reverse, which is the pathological liar of the tarot. I mean, we have a donkey here holding up peacock feathers, right? Like they are their own. Ah, yes, these peacock feathers are all mine. And it's right there at the foundation of the reading underneath that Justice card. So this is highlighting the message of you not seeing this coming. Now, I'm also starting to get some messages here surrounding you all being on very different parts of this timeline. Some of you are just now starting to realize this. Some of you are well into this and you've sort of hit this wall like, oh my God, which way do I go now? I don't know what to do. How do I deal with this situation? This Queen of Swords from this deck represents somebody who's also very overly emotional. For some of you out there, they could have a bad temper. But I feel that this is the kind of person here who just dumps all of their personal BS on you, right? Like it's something that you're obligated to help them with, whether it's things in their personal life, whether it's their own mental struggles, whatever it is. And Virgo, this is not your problem here, okay? The best thing that you can do for this person is reflect back to them exactly the kind of person they are and move on. Because like we picked up, they actually feel relieved when you do this. And I also heard that you need to immediately remove access to people that disrespect you. Now, if this is something in your personal life, I feel that this person is doing what they're doing because they're functioning in such a way that is based on a past version of yourself, not where you are now. The past version of you was someone that didn't make them feel small. Okay, I feel that this new you makes them feel irrelevant and left behind. Again, not your problem. It's very important to extract people from your life that are trying to keep you in old cycles immediately, because you can jeopardize and unravel all of your growth up until this very moment should you try to keep these people around. And again, the best thing you can do for these people is hold a mirror up to them and release them. They're going to have to face their own demons. There's nothing that you can do about this. What do we have? The sacral, please. Wow. 7 of Cups, Scorpio energy at the sacral. And the leopard cannot change their spots, right? This person's not going to change. 6 Pentacles to the 7 of Cups. The 7 of Cups from this deck is really speaking about you needing to withdraw, abandon this situation. And see how the leopard is looking at this person here like, oh my God, who are you? That is not the person that you presented yourself to be at all. Yeah, it's like somebody here was really painting some sort of picture or fantasy for you here, Virgo. And I'm hearing something here about, well, I think they just want me to give this to you guys as an example, but it's like you're courting somebody, right? In a romantic sense. And you're under the impression that this person is stable, they're responsible, they would make a really good partner because they seemingly have their life together. But then as soon as you start dating and then maybe move in together, you find out that this person has mountains of debt. They're one late payment from losing it all, right? And that's not to talk down on anybody who maybe having a difficult time. This has nothing to do with that. We all go through highs and lows, ups and downs in our life. This is something completely different. This is somebody who presents themselves in a certain way to hook, line, and sinker somebody in to now disperse all of their debt onto another after creating a complete illusion, manifesting a lie to fool that person. You know, this may be controversial. I'm just going to put this little message in here. I think that when it comes to relationships, whether it's you or the other person, I think it's very important that you put all your time and energy into getting yourself out of any sort of debts before you get into a relationship. And it's very important that you don't get into relationships with people who are in a lot of debt. Allow them the space and the energy to clear all that up first. And if it's meant to be further down the track, then it's meant to be. Because going into these situations can lead to ruin further down the track. You know, debt affects people emotionally. They don't show up as the best version of themselves. You know, a number of years back, I was in some debt, and I decided that I wasn't going to get into another relationship again until I got myself completely out of debt. I raised my credit score up. I really stabilized myself and really had something solid to offer another person, because I wanted to see if that would actually influence the kinds of people that I attracted or I was attracted to. I essentially rebuilt the entire foundation of my life. And once I was done doing that, what I found was I was no longer seeking companionship in the way I once did. And it was interesting to me because it was something that I didn't even realize existed on a psychological level. See, when you have all these voids, when you have energy draining out in different areas of your life, you will start manifesting new things into your life based on that energy leakage without even knowing it. So in my case, I kept finding myself in relationships that were not the most optimal relationships for myself because I was not the most optimal person for them. There was something holistic going on there. There was something at my core that I hadn't taken the time to focus on that was influencing all of my connections. So once I really did that inner work, spiritual work, which all led to the restructuring of my life in my everyday waking life, in my material reality, everything changed. I found myself not even really wanting a relationship in the same way I did in the past. It turned into, oh, it'd be nice if somebody was around. It would be nice to share this moment with somebody, as opposed to, oh my God, I've got to build a life for myself and do this and that. There was less desperation or the need to fit inside some sort of societal norm. But whatever the case, Virgo, I feel that some of you needed to hear that out there, okay? So whoever you are, just focus on really stabilizing and cleaning up your own life, okay? And then see what you attract after you do that. I think you're going to be pleasantly surprised, okay? Because what you're doing is raising your standards without even realizing it, because you are raising your own value. What do we have? The solar plexus, please. Magician, Baphomet, Gemini, Virgo energy at the solar plexus. We're definitely on to something here, Virgo. This is following everything I just said beautifully, because the Magician from this deck, it's like Magician in reverse. It's an energy of poor planning. It's also an energy of wasting your resources or functioning in a space where you have all of this energy leakage. Your energy is scattered all over the place, and you're trying to gather it all together and move forward. I'm seeing somebody walking down a path, and I can see their auric field. So just imagine an individual standing in the center of a kind of holographic orb, right? And there's all these holes in the auric field and energy just leaking out all over this path that they're walking down. And while this person is standing, or rather walking in the center with this orb around them, they're trying to put their fingers in all the holes to stop all of the leakage. But it's obviously a futile effort because there's more holes in their auric field than they have fingers to plug them. So what's the answer there? The answer is to stop. Stop taking on more than you can handle. Deal with the existence of the problems that you have in this present moment. Gain control and then begin to move forward again, once all of those holes have sealed up. When a person carries so many burdens on their shoulders and continues to walk down their path, the universe assumes that they can handle more. Because Manifestation 101, which the Magician is the card of manifestation, but this Magician is in reverse. So it's like the opposite of manifesting. You're manifesting from a place of not realizing that what you're getting in your life is exactly what you're putting out. So having said that, again, Manifestation 101, the universe is going to mirror back to you, or rather amplify back to you, more of what you already have. Capiche? What do we have? The heart, please. Wow. Ace of Cups, beer, neglecting duties. Unbelievable. This card from this deck literally means being drained, energetically speaking. It speaks about being so mentally and physically barren, completely exhausted emotionally, but continuing down your path. Shadow Virgo energy. See, as we know, Virgo is the most organized, most put together sign in the zodiac. But in its shadow, this can turn into this sort of obsessive compulsive disorder to try and hold things together when they need to completely crumble so you can rebuild again. I just see this person in my mind's eye right now trying to put all these band-aids over those holes in the auric field, right? In that orb that is around them, and it doesn't hold. It's like there's this pursuit of perfectionism, but it's become counterproductive because it's interfering with your practical responsibilities. And then we have Aedia, Six of Pentacles again, Taurus energy, divine grace. So now here we are. We've arrived, Virgo. You've gotten to the other side of this energy that I'm picking up on now. The divine wants to help you, but because of your free will, you must accept. There's a breakthrough here for you, Virgo. It's very clear. This is what this is all about. This energy is all about a recognition of truth, whether it's connected to you personally or it's connected to someone or something external to you. It's all about recognizing the truth that stands before you without excuse as a means to move forward. I just heard you are not allowed to walk around this. You must go through it. And I just felt a kind of drop in pressure. I got this dull ringing in my ears, similar to when you're in an airplane. But there's something about this that makes you feel a sense of relief. It's one of these situations where you make some sort of big decision that has to do with you kind of saying, you know what, I'm just going to slow down here a little bit so I can catch back up with myself. I'm seeing somebody in my mind's eye walking up a staircase, but instead of stepping on every step, they're trying to jump steps. And every time they do, they slip and fall. But this is one of these situations where you must take every step in a very methodical fashion. The journey is what this is all about, not the destination, Virgo. What do we have at the throat? Wow, look at that. The devil, Samael, Baphomet and the devil. Seduction and downfall. Communicates with the dead, teaches the occult and magic. And look, he's shuffling off, right? Oh, crap. Virgo sees me, right? So this just represents the energy that surrounds what you may be dealing with here. I want to be very clear here. When I speak about the devil in my readings, think of it as a consciousness or an energy, a collection of behavioral patterns. It's not a single entity. It's more a spirit, the spirit of the devil that possesses people, right? Whether it's big or small. That's how I read. I'm an energy reader. So it's a kind of polarity, okay? This is you breaking free from something that's been creating a lot of energetic draggage. It's like you're reclaiming your power by releasing control. Okay, releasing control of the outcome. And again, they're showing me that vision of those Herculean giants pushing something back. That could represent a lot of things, but it could be deadlines as well. Pushing things back to fit more within a structure of what you can achieve, which is all based on the quality of how you show up inside that space. Quality first, Virgo. Do not overlook the quality because you feel pressure. And that devil is right underneath that moon, right? The moon's all about illumination. You seeing something that you didn't see before. Person, place, thing, mindset. But this is all a necessary component to pull through this manifestation. What do we have at the third eye? 10 of Wands. Wow. So I was speaking about you carrying burdens, and that's what the 10 of Wands is. It's the energy of taking on too much. But this 10 of Wands here is different because it speaks about the opposing energy, which is an energy of lightening up. It's a very airy kind of energy. And see how it's coming right after this devil energy? See, this devil energy could represent your approach as well. It's like making something harder on yourself because you're imposing all of these heavy restrictions on yourself and this space. Okay, let's close it out, Virgo. What do we have at the crown, please? Perfect. 4 of Pentacles, Capricorn energy, Mizrael at the crown. God liberating the oppressed. Self-atonement. Cures mental illness. Deliverance from persecution. Now, the 4 of Pentacles from this deck is speaking about you ejecting this energy, right? For the sake of self-preservation and stability, however that shows up for you. And it's so interesting how earlier on in the reading, I was really speaking about an individual that brings something to the table, but they're kind of like a loose cannon. And this illustration really highlights that to me. Right? It's like an angel ejecting this person. It's supposed to be a kind of demon or spirit, right? Behavioral pattern, mindset. It could be a literal person as well that holds this energy. But you're taking control of something here. And the way it says God liberating the oppressed, right? So it touches on what I said about they almost feel relieved by this, right? Right underneath that 3 of Wands, right there they are. Sending you off, right? Godspeed. And or this is something that you're doing internally. You're setting yourself free by a limiting belief or some sort of self-imposed restrictive space, which is telling you, or rather has been subconsciously controlling and programming you to think that you need to do something a certain way or need to exist within this sort of limiting space. But again, the Herculean giants are pushing back the fence, the border, and creating a bigger space for you to create and evolve beyond the current limits that you have created for yourself. And they wanted me to really emphasize that because it suggests that the only one telling you that you need to be here is you. No one can force you to stay in this space, and no one has control over any of your moves and actions. You are in complete control here. All right, Virgo, this is what I have for you. Please don't forget to like and subscribe and turn on your notifications, and I'll see you again. Take care.